The massive radio telescope on the planet Xerex Prime hummed with constant activity as it sent the same message across the galaxy for the third time this cycle. High Coordinator Zixthak stood before the enormous transmitter array, his insectoid features twisted with growing concern as he watched the transmission status displays. Every known species had acknowledged receipt of the warning within the expected time frame. Every species except one. "Send it again on all frequencies?" Zixthak clicked to his communication officer, a smaller member of his hive named Kelthon. "The humans must receive this message." The warning was simple and direct. "Cease expansion beyond your home system, or face the consequences of violating Galactic Council Decree 7854. You have been warned 3 times. Compliance is mandatory." Light years away in the Sol system, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel USS Horizon, completely unaware that his species was being branded as the most defiant civilization in the galaxy. He sipped his morning coffee and watched Earth shrink to a blue dot behind them as they headed toward their destination in the Kepler 442 system. This was humanity's 3rd colony mission in 5 months, and Jake felt proud to be commanding one of the most advanced ships in the human fleet. "Captain, I'm still getting that weird static on long-range communications," reported Lieutenant Amy Collins from her station at the communications console. She had been trying to solve the problem for weeks now, but every time she thought she had fixed it, the strange interference returned. "It started right after we left Earth's orbit. The signal processors keep filtering it out as background radiation." Jake nodded and walked over to look at her displays. The readouts showed normal space communication patterns, with only minor, cosmic background noise registering on their sensors. "Keep working on it, Amy. We might need long-range comms when we reach the colony site." What neither Jake nor Amy knew was that their ship's primitive radio equipment was completely unable to decode the sophisticated quantum-encrypted transmissions being sent by the Galactic Council. The alien messages appeared as nothing more than random cosmic static to human receivers, filtered out automatically by their signal processing systems. On the bridge of the crystalline hegemony flagship Eternal Resonance Prime Telvara reviewed the latest intelligence reports about human activity. His crystalline body pulsed with concerned blue light as he read the data streaming across his organic displays. The humans had not only ignored 3 direct warnings from the Galactic Council, but they were actually accelerating their expansion efforts. "This is unprecedented," Telvara communicated to his subordinate through harmonic vibrations. "No species has ever shown such complete disregard for Council authority. These humans must be either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish." The truth was that humanity was neither brave nor foolish regarding the Galactic Council's warnings. They were simply ignorant of them. Earth's radio astronomy had detected various signals from space over the decades, but none had been recognized as deliberate communications from alien civilizations. The sophisticated encoding methods used by galactic species were far beyond human understanding, making the messages invisible to their detection systems. Back on the USS Horizon, Chief Engineer Dan Parker was running diagnostics on the ship's fusion drive when he noticed something odd in the sensor logs. "Hey, Amy," he called over to the communications station. "Are you seeing any unusual energy patterns in the cosmic background readings?" Amy pulled up the sensor data on her screen and frowned. "There's definitely something there, but it's not following any pattern I recognize. The computer keeps classifying it as natural phenomena. Maybe it's just interference from that pulsar we passed yesterday," suggested Navigator Lisa Wang from her position at the helm. "Those things can mess with electronics for days." The 3 humans continued their routine duties, unaware that their casual dismissal of the background interference was being interpreted across the galaxy as an act of supreme defiance. Every major civilization had representatives monitoring human communications, waiting for some sign that Earth had received and understood the Council's ultimatum. In the war room of the Fenris Pack homeworld, General Howldar paced before a holographic display showing human ship movements. His wolf-like features were drawn tight with concern as he studied the tactical implications of humanity's apparent strategy. "Look at their formation patterns," he growled to his pack leaders. "They're not retreating or showing any defensive posture. Either they have weapons we know nothing about, or they're planning something we can't predict. The reality was far more mundane. The human ships were following standard exploration protocols established by Earth's space agency. Their formation was designed for efficient travel and resource sharing, not military tactics. The crews were equipped with scientific instruments and basic defensive systems, not the advanced weaponry that alien observers assumed must be hidden somewhere in their ships. Dr. Carl Bennett, the mission's lead xenobiologist aboard the USS Horizon, was reviewing his notes on potential alien life forms they might encounter at their destination. He had spent years studying the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence, but like most humans, he expected first contact to be a distant, future event. His preparations focused on microbial life and basic atmospheric analysis, not diplomatic protocols with advanced civilizations. "I wonder what we'll find out there," Carl mused to Captain Morrison during their evening briefing. "The spectral analysis suggests the third planet has a stable atmosphere and liquid water. Could be our first real shot at finding life beyond Earth." Jake nodded thoughtfully. "That would be something. Imagine being the crew that makes first contact." Neither man realized that first contact had already been attempted multiple times, with the aliens growing increasingly frustrated by humanity's apparent refusal to respond. On the distant world of Veltar Prime, the Serpentine Council representative, Ethan coiled nervously around her communication console as she prepared her daily report on human activities. "The situation grows more concerning," she hissed into the quantum transmitter. "Human ships continue advancing toward restricted sectors despite repeated warnings. Their behavior suggests either advanced military confidence or complete contempt for Council authority." The USS Horizon continued its journey toward Kepler 442, carrying 50,000 colonists in cryogenic storage and enough supplies to establish a permanent settlement. Captain Morrison and his crew maintained their regular duties, monitoring ship systems and planning for their arrival at the New World. They had no idea that their simple mission of exploration and colonization was being viewed as an act of war by the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. As the ship passed the halfway point of its journey, Amy Collins finally gave up trying to eliminate the persistent static from their communications array. "I'll file a report for the engineers back on Earth," she told Captain Morrison. "Maybe they can figure out what's causing the interference on future missions." The interference continued broadcasting its warning message across all known frequencies, desperately trying to reach the humans before the situation escalated beyond diplomatic resolution. 6 months had passed since the USS Horizon reached the Kepler 442 system, and the human colony on the planet they named New Eden was thriving beyond all expectations. Chief Engineer Dan Parker wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished, installing the power coupling for the third fusion reactor. The settlement now housed nearly 40,000 colonists who had been awakened from cryogenic sleep, with more being revived each week as the infrastructure expanded. "Another successful day of progress," Dan muttered to himself as he packed up his tools. The fusion plant would provide enough clean energy for the next phase of expansion, which included a mining operation in the asteroid belt and a communications relay station on the system's outer moon. Colony Administrator Lisa Wang was reviewing the weekly progress reports in her temporary office when the first strange readings appeared on the orbital sensors. The automated systems detected massive energy signatures appearing at the edge of the star system, moving in perfect geometric formations that defied any natural explanation. "Dan, you need to see this," Lisa called over the comm system. "We're getting some unusual readings from the deep space monitors." Within hours, the sky above New Eden began to change. What started as distant points of light grew into massive crystalline structures that seemed to bend starlight around their surfaces. Dozens of ships materialized in orbit, their hulls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that created intricate light shows across the colonial sky. "Well, would you look at that?" Dan said as he stepped outside the reactor facility and tilted his head back to stare at the alien vessels. "I guess we're not alone in the universe after all." He adjusted his hard hat and pulled out his personal communicator to record the historic moment. The Christek hegemony had arrived with their most impressive diplomatic fleet, led by Resonance Prime Telvara himself. The crystalline being had prepared extensively for this encounter, studying human behavioral patterns and crafting what he believed would be the perfect final ultimatum. His ship's bioluminescent hull flashed in complex sequences designed to demonstrate both technological superiority and peaceful intentions. "Attention, human colonists," Telvara broadcast on all frequencies, his harmonic voice translated into basic human languages. "You have ignored 3 warnings from the Galactic Council. This is your final opportunity to withdraw from this system peacefully. You have 24 Earth hours to begin evacuation procedures." Down on the planet's surface, the humans received the transmission with excitement rather than fear. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, the colony's chief scientist, rushed to her laboratory to analyze the alien communication methods. "This is incredible," she announced to her team. "The linguistic structure suggests a highly advanced civilization with sophisticated translation capabilities." Lisa Wang called an emergency meeting of the Colonial Council, but instead of discussing evacuation plans, they focused on first contact protocols. "We need to prepare a proper welcome," she announced to the gathered department heads. "This is the most important moment in human history. We have to get it right." The colonists began preparing what they considered appropriate hospitality arrangements. The food service team started brewing large quantities of their finest synthetic coffee, while the cultural committee worked on creating a presentation about human civilization. Children in the colony schools drew pictures of Earth's animals and landscapes to share with their alien visitors. Telvara watched these preparations through his ship's sensors with growing confusion. The humans showed no signs of fear or submission. Instead, they appeared to be organizing some kind of celebration. His crystalline form flickered with uncertainty as he tried to interpret their behavior. "Report to Galactic Council Command," he transmitted to his superiors. "Human response to final ultimatum is unexpected. They appear to be preparing welcome ceremonies rather than evacuation procedures. Request guidance on how to proceed." The response from the council was swift and alarmed. Species representatives from across the galaxy had been monitoring the situation, and none could explain the humans' apparent fearlessness. The prevailing theory was that humanity possessed hidden military capabilities that made them confident enough to ignore even direct threats from the hegemony's fleet. Meanwhile, Dr. Carl Bennett had been working around the clock to decode the alien transmission patterns. He discovered that the ships were broadcasting on dozens of different frequency ranges simultaneously, creating a complex web of communications that suggested a vast interstellar network. "They're not just talking to us," Carl explained to the Colony Council during their evening briefing. "These signals are going out to multiple star systems. We're looking at evidence of a galactic civilization that's been operating right under our noses." The revelation filled the colonists with wonder rather than terror. Anthropologist Dr. Kate Morgan immediately began drafting questions about alien culture and social structures. "We need to learn everything we can," she told her research team. "This could revolutionize our understanding of life in the universe." Lisa Wang decided that humanity's first response to the alien fleet should reflect their best qualities. She composed a message that combined scientific curiosity with genuine friendship. "Greetings to our visitors from the stars," the transmission began. "We are honored by your arrival and eager to learn about your civilization. Please accept our invitation to cultural exchange and peaceful cooperation." When Telvara received the human response, his confusion deepened. The message contained no acknowledgement of the ultimatum, no indication that the humans understood their precarious situation. Instead, they were treating the hegemony's enforcement fleet as if it were a diplomatic mission. "They invite us to cultural exchange," Telvara reported to the council in bewilderment. "They show no recognition of our military superiority or legal authority. Either these beings possess supreme confidence in their defensive capabilities, or they are operating under some strategy we cannot comprehend." The Galactic Council chambers erupted in debate. Representatives from hundreds of species offered theories about human psychology and military doctrine. Some believed humanity was bluffing, using apparent weakness to mask incredible strength. Others suggested that humans were so advanced they considered the hegemony fleet irrelevant, Dr. Bennett continued his analysis of the alien communications, discovering mathematical sequences and star charts embedded in their transmissions. "They're sharing scientific data," he announced excitedly. "Look at these equations. They've solved problems in quantum physics that we're still working on." The humans began broadcasting their own scientific data in return, sharing Earth's knowledge of biology, chemistry, and planetary sciences. They included cultural information as well, sending music, art, and literature to demonstrate human creativity and peaceful intentions. Telquote Vara found himself in an unprecedented situation. The humans were treating his ultimatum as an opening for scientific collaboration. Their responses showed genuine excitement about meeting an alien species, combined with a complete lack of fear or aggression. For the first time in his long diplomatic career, he was unsure how to proceed with a species that seemed to misunderstand everything about galactic politics. The news of first contact reached Earth 3 days after the Christek hegemony fleet arrived at New Eden Colony. The quantum communication relay that Dr. Bennett had established with the alien ships allowed for near-instantaneous data transmission across the galaxy, though the humans still believed they were simply improving their own technology with alien assistance. President Helen Carter stood before the emergency session of the United Nations, her face glowing with excitement as she addressed the assembled delegates from every nation on Earth. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer alone in the universe. Our colonists at Kepler 442 have made contact with an advanced alien civilization, and they have extended an invitation for diplomatic relations." The UN chamber erupted in cheers and applause. Representatives from every country stood and embraced each other as the magnitude of the moment sank in. Humanity had dreamed of this day for centuries, and now it had finally arrived. "I am authorizing the immediate deployment of our most experienced diplomatic team along with our finest scientific minds," President Carter continued. "We will show these visitors the best of human civilization and learn everything we can about their culture and technology." Admiral Rick Stone received his orders while reviewing fleet readiness reports at the Mars Orbital Command Station. The 60-year-old veteran had commanded exploration missions throughout the solar system, but nothing had prepared him for leading humanity's first interstellar diplomatic expedition. 5 exploration vessels, 2 cargo ships loaded with cultural gifts, and the escort cruiser Liberty, Admiral Stone read from his mission briefing. "Our job is to demonstrate human capabilities while establishing peaceful relations with our new neighbors." The hastily assembled human fleet represented the best Earth had to offer. The cargo ships carried samples of human art, literature, music, and cuisine, along with scientific instruments and manufacturing equipment to show their technological progress. Each ship's crew had been carefully selected for their expertise and ability to represent humanity with dignity. Meanwhile, in the depths of space near the galactic core, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session for the 4th time in 2 weeks. The massive chamber contained representatives from over 300 species, all watching the holographic displays that tracked human fleet movements with growing alarm. "The humans are sending military escorts," hissed Ambassador Sistan, her serpentine body coiled tightly around her speaking platform. "This confirms our suspicions about their aggressive intentions. No peaceful species would respond to diplomatic contact with warships." The wolf-like Fenris delegate General Howaldar studied the tactical readouts with professional interest. "Look at their formation strategy," he growled to his pack subordinates. "They place their most valuable vessels at the front of the formation. This suggests either supreme confidence in their defensive capabilities or a calculated show of strength, designed to intimidate potential enemies." High Coordinator Zixthak clicked his mandibles nervously as he processed the intelligence reports streaming in from scout ships throughout human space. Their response time suggests advanced communication networks we were not aware of. 3 Earth days to organize and deploy an interstellar fleet indicates military preparedness far beyond our initial assessments. The reality was considerably more mundane. Admiral Stone was following standard Earth exploration protocols, placing the scientific vessels at the front of the formation to maximize their sensor coverage during the journey. The escort cruiser Liberty was included primarily for emergency rescue operations, not combat. and carried medical facilities along with its defensive systems. Commander Pete Miller stood on the bridge of the lead exploration vessel USS Discovery, reviewing the cultural briefing materials prepared by Earth's Xenology Department. The 35-year-old officer had volunteered for the mission because of his fascination with alien psychology, though most of his experience came from theoretical studies rather than actual contact. "I hope we brought enough coffee," Pete mentioned to his first officer during their daily briefing. The cultural exchange documents suggest that sharing food and beverages is important for building trust with new species. "We packed extra supplies just in case their dietary needs are compatible with ours." Dr. Rachel Adams, the fleet's chief xenobiologist, had spent weeks preparing biological samples and medical information to share with their alien hosts. "We need to learn everything we can about their physiology," she explained to her research team. "Understanding their biology will help us avoid cultural mistakes that might be interpreted as hostile." The human fleet's approach through hyperspace was being monitored by intelligence networks throughout the galaxy. What the aliens saw as a carefully coordinated military advance was actually Pete Miller, following basic navigation protocols while trying not to spill coffee on his uniform during the morning briefing. Resonance-Prime Telvara received constant updates on the approaching human fleet while maintaining his position above New Eden Colony. The crystalline being had requested additional support from the Galactic Council, but the response had been troubling. Instead of reinforcements, he received orders to maintain his current position and gather more intelligence on human capabilities. "The humans demonstrate tactical knowledge beyond our expectations," came the transmission from Council Command. "Their fleet composition suggests sophisticated military doctrine. You are ordered to assess their true strength before taking further action." Down on the planet's surface, the colonists continued their daily routines while preparing for the arrival of the Earth delegation. Lisa Wang had organized cultural committees to plan welcome ceremonies and educational presentations. The children's choir practiced songs in various Earth languages, while the colonial band prepared musical performances representing different human cultures. Dr. Carl Bennett made a breakthrough in his analysis of alien communication protocols, discovering that the crystalline ships were part of a vast interstellar network spanning thousands of star systems. "They're connected to civilizations across the entire galaxy," he announced to the Colony Council. "We're not just meeting one species. We're potentially joining a galactic community." The excitement among the colonists reached new heights as they realized the implications. Humanity was being invited to join a confederation of alien species that had been exploring the galaxy for thousands of years. The possibilities for scientific advancement and cultural exchange seemed limitless. Admiral Stone's fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system right on schedule. The human ships immediately began broadcasting friendship, messages, and cultural information, following the diplomatic protocols established by Earth's Xenology Department. "Greetings to our new friends among the stars," Admiral Stone transmitted on all frequencies. "We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn about your civilizations and share the best of human culture and knowledge with you." Telvara received the human transmission with growing bewilderment. The approaching fleet showed no signs of aggressive posturing or military preparation. Instead, they were broadcasting what appeared to be genuine expressions of curiosity and friendship. Their behavior made no sense according to any galactic diplomatic framework he understood. The confrontation that would reshape galactic history began when Admiral Stone's small human fleet encountered the massive Galactic Council armada at the outer edge of the Kepler 442 system. What the humans saw as an impressive welcome party was actually the largest military force assembled in the galaxy for over 2 centuries. Captain Sue Mitchell stood on the bridge of the USS Explorer, watching through the main viewports as thousands of alien ships arranged themselves in perfect, geometric formations around them. The vessels came in dozens of different designs, from the crystalline structures of the hegemony to the organic-looking bioships of species she had never imagined could exist. "Look at the precision of their formations," Sue commented to her navigation officer, Lieutenant Bob Chen. "They must have been planning this welcome ceremony for weeks. Better make sure we're recording everything for the history books." The truth was far more ominous. The Galactic Council had assembled representatives from every major military power in the known galaxy. Over 15,000 warships surrounded the small human fleet, their weapons powered, but not yet targeted. This was meant to be the final demonstration that would convince humanity to withdraw peacefully from galactic space. Resonance-Prime Telvara had been given command of the operation after his successful intelligence gathering at New Eden Colony. The crystalline being felt the weight of galactic history as he prepared to deliver what everyone hoped would be the last warning humanity would need. "Attention, human vessels," Telvara broadcast across all communication channels. "You are surrounded by the combined fleets of the Galactic Council. We will now demonstrate the consequences of continued defiance. Observe and understand the power that protects the established order of civilized space." The demonstration target was a small barren moon orbiting the system's gas giant. The rocky satellite served no strategic purpose and contained no valuable resources, making it perfect for showing overwhelming force without causing actual harm to anyone. The plan was simple and devastating in its precision. Admiral Stone received the alien transmission with interest rather than alarm. "Sounds like they want to show us some kind of technological demonstration," he told his staff during the emergency briefing. "This could be an incredible learning opportunity about their capabilities." Dr. Rachel Adams was practically vibrating with excitement as she monitored the alien fleet movements from her science station aboard the Discovery. "The energy readings from their ships are off the charts," she reported to Commander Miller. "Whatever they're planning, it's going to be spectacular from a physics standpoint." The alien ships moved into position with mechanical precision that took nearly 6 hours to complete. Each vessel found its exact coordinates in the three-dimensional formation surrounding the target moon. The smaller human ships found themselves with front-row seats to what their hosts clearly considered an important event. "I count over 3,000 ships participating in the formation," reported Lieutenant Amy Collins from her sensor station. "The energy coordination required for this must be incredible. I wonder if they're going to create some kind of artistic light display." The reality was far more impressive and terrifying than any light show. At precisely the calculated moment, every ship in the formation fired simultaneously. Thousands of energy beams converged on the target moon with surgical precision, splitting the rocky satellite exactly along its equatorial line. The two halves drifted apart slowly, glowing with residual heat from the coordinated bombardment. Captain Sue Mitchell watched the demonstration with genuine awe. "Incredible," she breathed as the severed moon pieces tumbled through space. The mathematical calculations needed to coordinate that kind of precision firing from thousands of different ships must be staggering. The message that the Galactic Council intended to send was unmistakable. This is what happens to worlds that defy our authority. The technical expertise required to split a moon in half without destroying it completely demonstrated both overwhelming military power and precise control. Any civilized species would understand the threat and respond appropriately. The human response was not what the Galactic Council expected. Dr. Carl Bennett was the first to recover from his amazement at the technical achievement they had just witnessed. "Commander Miller, we need to get detailed sensor readings of the energy dissipation patterns," he called out excitedly. "The physics involved in that demonstration could revolutionize our understanding of directed energy applications." "Commander." Pete Miller opened a direct communication channel to the alien fleet. "That was absolutely amazing," he broadcast to Telvara's flagship. "The precision and coordination required for that display is beyond anything we thought possible. Could you share some technical details about how you managed the synchronized firing patterns?" Telvara's crystalline form flickered with confusion as he received the human response. Instead of fear or submission, the humans were expressing scientific curiosity about the weapon demonstration. They were asking for technical specifications as if they had just witnessed a university lecture rather than a threat to their existence. "Our scientists are particularly interested in the energy coordination systems," continued Miller's transmission. "The mathematical models required to prevent interference between so many simultaneous energy beams must be incredibly sophisticated. We would be honored to learn about your computational methods." In the Galactic Council Command Center, representatives from hundreds of species watched the human reaction with growing bewilderment. The serpentine ambassador Sisthan coiled nervously around her communication console as she tried to process what they were witnessing. "They show no fear," she hissed to her colleagues. "Their response to our ultimate demonstration is to request technical specifications. What manner of beings treats a display of overwhelming force as an educational opportunity?" General Haldar of the Fenris Pack studied the tactical displays with professional interest. Either these humans are completely insane, or they possess weapons so advanced that our demonstration appears primitive to them. No rational species responds to a show of force with scientific curiosity unless they are supremely confident in their own capabilities. High Coordinator Zixthak found himself facing a situation that had no precedent in galactic history. Every species that had ever encountered Council authority had responded to demonstrations of force with either immediate surrender or desperate attempts at military resistance. The humans were doing neither. Dr. Rachel Adams was already drafting research proposals based on the alien weapon demonstration. "If we could understand their energy coordination principles, we could revolutionize our own technology," she explained to Admiral Stone during their post-demonstration briefing. "This could be the breakthrough that takes human civilization to the next level." The human fleet continued broadcasting requests for technical information and expressions of admiration for the aliens' scientific achievements. Captain Sue Mitchell recorded personal messages describing the demonstration as the most beautiful display of coordinated technology she had ever witnessed. Vara reported the human response to Council command with increasing confusion. Recommendation. Unknown, he concluded his transmission. Human behavior patterns do not match any known diplomatic or military protocols. Request guidance on how to proceed with species that treats weapon demonstrations as scientific presentations. The breakthrough that would change everything happened 3 weeks after the moon demonstration, when xenobiologist Dr. Kate Morgan was reviewing communication logs in her laboratory aboard the USS Discovery. She had been working around the clock to understand why the aliens seemed so frustrated with human responses to their spectacular technological displays. "There's something wrong with our translation protocols," Kate muttered to herself as she scrolled through weeks of recorded alien transmissions. The computer systems had been automatically filtering out certain frequency ranges as background interference, just as they had been doing since the first human ships left Earth's orbit. Kate decided to examine the filtered data that their computers had been discarding as cosmic noise. What she found made her heart race with a mixture of excitement and growing horror. Hidden in the signals that their systems had classified as random static were complex patterns that showed clear signs of intelligent origin. "Computer, disable all signal filtering on alien communications," she ordered. "I want to see everything they've been sending us, including the data you've been throwing out as background radiation." The results were staggering. For months, the aliens had been broadcasting detailed messages on frequencies that human technology couldn't properly decode. The sophisticated quantum-encrypted transmissions that the Galactic Council used for official communications had been completely invisible to human receivers, appearing as nothing more than cosmic background noise. Kate ran the filtered signals through every translation program in the ship's computer, working frantically to decode what she was beginning to realize might be critically important information. Hours passed as she adjusted parameters and tried different approaches to crack the alien communication methods. Finally, at 3 a.m. ship time, the translation program produced its first coherent result. Kate stared at her screen, in shock as the alien messages began to appear in readable English. The first transmission made her blood run cold. "Warning to human vessels. Cease expansion beyond your home system immediately. This is official notice from the Galactic Council that your species is in violation of Decree 7854. Compliance is mandatory. Failure to withdraw will result in enforcement action." Kate's hands shook as she scrolled through message after message, all containing similar warnings that had been sent over a period of months. The aliens hadn't been trying to welcome humanity into a galactic community. They had been ordering humans to stop their expansion into space, and humanity had been completely unable to receive those orders. "Oh my God," Kate whispered, as the full scope of the misunderstanding became clear. "We've been ignoring them this whole time, and they think we're doing it on purpose. She immediately called Commander Miller and Admiral Stone, rousing them from sleep with news that would reshape their understanding of everything that had happened over the past several months. The emergency briefing that followed was unlike any meeting in human history. "They've been trying to communicate with us since before we even left Earth," Kate explained to the assembled senior officers. "Every time we thought they were showing us their technology or welcoming us to the galaxy, they were actually trying to get us to leave. The moon demonstration wasn't a scientific display, it was a threat." Admiral Stone felt his stomach drop as he realized the implications. "So when we asked them to explain how they split the moon in half, we were asking them to explain their weapons technology after they just threatened us with it," Kate confirmed. "From their perspective, we've been either incredibly brave or completely insane this entire time." The revelation changed everything about humanity's situation. They weren't honored guests being welcomed into a galactic community. They were trespassers who had accidentally ignored multiple warnings from the galaxy's governing authority, then responded to those warnings with apparent defiance and requests for military secrets. Commander Pete Miller was the first to grasp the potential for turning this disaster into an opportunity. "We need to establish proper communication with them immediately," he said. "If we can explain what happened, maybe we can fix this misunderstanding before it gets worse." Dr. Kate Morgan spent the next several hours crafting humanity's first real message to the Galactic Council. She knew that this single transmission might determine whether her species would be welcomed into galactic civilization or forcibly removed from space. "Attention Galactic Council representatives," her message began. "We have only now discovered that our primitive communication systems were unable to receive your previous transmissions. We did not ignore your warnings intentionally. We simply could not hear them." She continued with a detailed explanation of human radio technology and its limitations, showing how the sophisticated alien communication methods appeared as random noise to Earth's receivers. The message concluded with humanity's genuine desire to learn about galactic law and find a peaceful solution to their unintentional violation. Resonance Prime Telvara received the human transmission with a mixture of relief and amazement. For the first time since the crisis began, the human response made perfect sense. They weren't defiant warriors or master strategists. They were simply a young species with primitive technology that had stumbled into galactic space without understanding the rules. Telvara immediately forwarded the human message to Galactic Council headquarters, along with his own analysis of the situation. "Recommend immediate diplomatic status for humanity," he transmitted. "They have demonstrated remarkable courage and curiosity in the face of overwhelming odds. Their response to perceived hostility was not aggression, but rather a desire to learn and understand." The council chambers buzzed with amazement as representatives from hundreds of species read the human explanation. Ambassador Siston uncoiled from her speaking platform with something resembling awe in her serpentine features. "They couldn't hear our warnings," she announced to the assembly. "Every action we interpreted as defiance was actually genuine confusion and curiosity. When faced with what they believed was first contact with alien species, their response was to extend friendship and request knowledge sharing." General Howldar of the Fenris Pack studied the tactical implications with professional respect. They responded to perceived threats not with fear or aggression, but with scientific curiosity and offers of cultural exchange. This suggests a level of courage and optimism that is unprecedented in galactic history. High Coordinator Zixthak found himself facing a completely new situation. In all of galactic history, no species had ever accidentally violated Council authority and then responded to enforcement actions with genuine friendship and requests for learning opportunities. The final Council vote was unanimous. Humanity would be granted full diplomatic status and welcomed as the newest members of the galactic community. But more than that, they would be recognized for demonstrating something that the galaxy had forgotten was possible. Dr. Kate Morgan received the Council's response 12 hours after sending her explanation. The message was simple but profound. "Welcome to the galactic community. You have shown us that the unknown should be met with open hands rather than closed fists. We have much to learn from each other. The crisis that had threatened to become the galaxy's first war in centuries had instead become its greatest diplomatic triumph. Humanity hadn't gotten the message the aliens sent, but the message humanity had sent in return changed everything.